So, welcome Charles, our guest from Norway, and welcome everyone listening and watching to the second edition of the Nordic Mindset podcast.
Thank you so much, Michael. Nice to be here.
Yeah,
Nice to be
definitely
Absolutely.
nice to have you here.
Yeah.
So, we've known each other for a long time through different settings. We've shared
Way too long, Michael. Way too
Yeah.
long. I see.
We've shared the stage a few times in a different setting, though. And you've been a guest here at our headquarters and at our conference for the Danish Mindset Mentors yesterday. So you've led thousands of people within your business, in your organization. How would you say that mindset has played a role in developing leaders in your organization, from your point of view?
Yeah, first of all, it's been great to be here. I'm here with my eldest son,
Yeah.
Isaac Prince, and he's around the age that I was exposed to the network marketing industry, which I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And I was 19 at that time. And ever since that day, mindset, the mental presence and consciousness has been a very important part in my journey for the past 30 years. So it was great to be here together with my son to introduce him to this space in a more concrete and set environment. So it's been really a interesting trip for me to partake for myself, just to see the program, see it in function behind the scenes, but also to observe his observation of this space as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I know what it's done to me
Yeah.
throughout these 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that, evolve in him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how has it played a role in your capacity as a leader for thousands of people in your country and the organization that you've built, where you've seen what a shift in mindset can actually do for someone?
Yeah. I think there are many things we have in common.
Yeah.
More than we have, which is not in common. But one of the main things is actually our mind.
Yeah.
It's something we all have, but how we use it, how we approach it is so different. And to your question, Michael, through these 30 years in my life and the people that I work with, when a person makes a conscious choice about leading their mind, leading their thoughts, choosing their thoughts,
Yeah.
they take ownership of their lives. They become the cause of their life and not the consequence.
Yeah.
So that's a major shift in it, major part of it.
Right. And when you talk to people in your organization, when is it that you see them shift? Like, do you have a concrete example of someone where you've seen, because I see this ever so often when I talk to the clients here, I see in their eyes that there's a point sometimes where they just get it. It's like the pieces of the puzzle all of a sudden become very clear to them, and they see, oh, I'm not where I want to be, not because of the world, but because of me. And that shift in mindset, taking responsibility and ownership, like you just said, so that changes a lot for people.
Accountability.
Yes.
Yeah, to move from a victim mindset to a person who is actually in charge of their lives. I think in this space, if you think about the Nordic space, then we all know that it's built in a way where being a victim gives you a certain identity.
Yes.
And it kind of keeps you passive in your own life.
Yeah.
It makes you a spectator instead of a contributor.
Yes.
Or playing in the field. So to your question, in conversations, I think the moment when people realize that there is an accountability part on them being a part of the life that they live, that's where the shift happens.
Yes.
And it can be in very minor areas. It might not be the biggest things, but just small areas where they realize that, that's actually something I could do. I could decide.
Yes.
And that's very empowering. And you can see that in people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's actually one of the core values and teachings of the Nordic mindset is actually always to identify if you are facing a problem, if you are worried about something. Yeah. It's to identify if this is something that is uncontrollable, or is it something that it is within your control? And the mistake that so many people make is that they spend a lot of mental resources on either uncontrollable things out there in the world, like they get riled up about war or terrorism or inflation or politicians they disagree with.
Yeah.
But when they do that, they spend the majority of their mental resources focusing on things that they cannot change. And if there's one thing that can completely drain your energy and even your joy, it is to be focusing on things that you can't change anyway.
Absolutely.
So one of the shifts when people go through the Nordic Mindset program is that they start becoming so much more aware, like really crystal clear. Every time they're facing a problem, every time they worry, we teach them to write down what you worry about or what you think you have that is a problem, and then always ask yourself, is this in fact an uncontrollable problem, like a war, like the weather?
Yeah.
Like you can spend a lot of time being upset that it's going to rain on your birthday, but you can't change that. I mean, unless you buy your own planet and you rearrange how the weather is, you can't change that.
Be my guest.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
And if you spend a lot of time thinking about what other people are doing wrong or how other people should live, well, then you will also waste your energy and your time and your resources that you could have spent tackling those few things that are wrong in your life. So I want to tell you something. This is really interesting. When we do our public lectures, we often ask the audience, sometimes 100 people, sometimes 700 people, we ask them, how much time do you spend on uncontrollable problems, other people's problems, compared to how much time you actually spend working on your own problems? And very often, it's a lot more thought. There's a lot more thought resources, mental resource going into what you cannot control, what you can never change. And then people wonder why they're stuck and why they're not feeling motivated and why they don't have energy and why,
why they're drained and everything.
Yeah.
Like back in the days, I used to be involved in politics, be a politician on city level and regional level. And my target was to actually become the first, foreign, the refugee prime minister in Norway.
Okay.
But through my career in the politics, I realized that you were always compromising on what really mattered to me, to be a part of a movement or a group that was just hunting for position and compromising all the time. And you lose yourself in the journey. And I heard the story of Mother Teresa where she was asked whether she would join a demonstration against war. And she instantly replied, no.
Oh.
And the people who asked her, they were like, but it's against war. But then she goes, if you have a demonstration for peace, then I will partake.
Yeah.
Which is such an important lesson to learn in what you just shared, is that instead of using our time, investing our time and energy, resources, thoughts, relationships towards stuff that we don't want,
yes,
we need to refocus it towards what we want more of.
Yeah.
That's what we build. So it's like Einstein says, either you think the world is against you or the world is for you. And if you, whatever you choose to believe, your life is mirrors exactly that. So it's all a choice, and it comes down to that. And I think it's so crucial to be aware of that, because it's right with you. You don't need anybody else for you to do that. It's your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's actually really good digging into, because if you think the world is against you, you'll experience it as being against you. I told you yesterday that I had read this study about some women who are guided into an interview, and they know that they're part of an experiment. And before they enter the room where the interview is held, they are put in front of a mirror. And with makeup, they make a scar on their face, like a visible scar on their face. And then they tell them it's time to go to the interview. And then just before they exit the room, without a mirror, they say they just want to touch up the scar with makeup. And they actually remove it with makeup.
Yeah.
And they go into the interview, and everyone going into the interview says that afterwards they felt that there were comments about the scar.
Yeah.
But there was no scar. No. So it's really, like you're saying, if you feel that the world is against you, you are victimizing yourself. Even if there's no one doing anything wrong, you're still going to feel it. And that's the mindset.
Absolutely.
That's the mindset of a victim.
I tell people that both faith and fear requires that we choose a thought prior to that thing happening.
Yeah.
So you get to choose faith or fear.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And the outcome will respond towards that thought of yours.
Definitely.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
to know that it's that simple and as complicated it is at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's also about the environment. If you surround yourself with people who are focused on solutions, focused on possibilities, focused on your potential, you will grow in that direction.
Definitely.
But to be in an environment that is focused on your limitations, your problems, your tragedies, your shortcomings, your lack of drive or lack of will, then you will be driven towards that space.
Yes.
So we have an active choice to make.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So you've worked with personal development, obviously, for many years, probably 3 decades or so.
Yeah, 3 decades.
So you started when you were 2?
That's correct. Thank you, Michael.
What would you say is the difference between, what you know so far about the Nordic Mindset training program and then just traditional therapeutic methods or motivational coaching and listening to YouTube podcasts and all of that? What is the difference between just doing that, let's say every day, and then being in a program?
Yeah, I think, there's a difference between motivation and inspiration. Motivation is a one-way ticket. Yeah. You are motivated by something externally. Inspiration is something that is that resonates within you as well, towards the person sharing with you the episode and stuff like that. So I'm more towards inspiration than motivation. Yeah. And my glimpse into the Nordic Mindset space, getting to know about the movement, the system, the structure, the strategy, and what you guys are doing, it's actually systemizing what I've been doing for 3 decades, in a more structured way. And I think people people deserve to have a program that brings continuity, structure, and that engraves and builds new patterns, new seeds that build new,
neural pathways?
Neural pathways, that can help them shift in the day-to-day living. So that's something that is fascinating me, that I'm fascinated by. And I feel that I'm getting more and more captivated by the thought of building that structure and being a part of a structure like that, because when you have something to go to that is written down to you, that you can just follow as a principle, because it's hard to find that in your own space if you're by yourself, but to have accountability. I think accountability is the right word.
Yes.
It keeps you accountable to a process that brings you results, that helps you become more of who you're supposed to be. I tell people it's not what you do, but it's who you are in what you do that matters. And so many people have got lost in doing stuff, but they lose themselves in it. They don't become something. Yeah. So I think this part in Nordic Mindset will help people structure just that. That's why I brought my son here, because I think it's a very interesting tool for him in his age to be aware of. Yes. And implement it in his life in an early age, and bring that to the world, which is so longing for accountability, structure, commitment, and guidance. We think that they don't, but they do want that. That's for sure.
Yeah. So the thing that drew me to the original Danish version of the Nordic Mindset that our founder Søren Lynge has been developing for 2 decades at least was that it was so structured. Like Søren always says, with us, you don't need to search for answers. You don't need to guess what to do. We will show you exactly what to do, exactly what thought process you should have if you want to be happier, more successful, more balanced, more present, more friendly, a better person. Yeah. And when you search for those things, like online, if you watch some videos or read a book or go to a lecture, you can be inspired what to do, but you're not trained. And what the Nordic Mindset program is exactly that. There's strategic repetition. We spend 4 days on every tool or psychological strategy. We repeat it again and again throughout the program. And
repetition is the mother of all skills.
Exactly.
No doubt,
Exactly.
In thought and in doings.
Yeah. And that's actually the difference between going to see a psychologist, and nothing bad against psychologists here. They're doing the best they can. And they're fine people, most of them, I'm sure. They have a passion. They have a long education trying to understand the human mind, but they
on
don't.
The knowledge they know already. That's
yeah,
it, yeah.
but they don't train skills into people. And if you want to become a really good golfer, you train. If you want to become a really good musician, like guitar player, you train that skill. And that's the difference from traditional therapeutic methods. And then the Nordic mindset is we don't just talk about how we feel, we train new skills.
Absolutely.
And like you said, training.
And in every profession, and the life that people lead today is a result of training throughout years.
Yep.
Even being negative is a skill.
Yeah.
And some people are really, really good at it. You know?
Because they've trained
it over and over again.
Yes.
And but if you realize that, then you also know that you can unlearn and relearn and reprogram, and that's something that's very powerful. And I tell people, it's always too early to quit and never too late to begin.
Yes.
So with that in mind, no matter where you're in life, no matter what you've been doing before or what circumstance you might be in, you can make a single decision right now to make that shift and turn the direction of your life. And in just about a week, 2, 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, 3 years, how far does that go?
Yeah.
Like a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Then you'll be in a totally different space.
Yeah.
But you need to get into the right environment. And I think being in a program helps you get into an environment immediately.
Yes.
You have that space.
Yes.
And you can dive into it as much as you want. So you are the one in charge of your direction, of the impact, and who you allow to influence it. Sometimes people tell me, but Charles, what you do is brainwash people. And I do. Because brainwashing is something that is done on a regular basis. One thing is, are you conscious about it? Is it you who choose what brainwashes you? Or you just let it to be random stuff in your day-to-day life? But we're all brainwashed.
Well, it's just another word for influence.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who are you influenced by?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I think Søren Lynge says that your brain has no brain.
Yeah.
So we have to actually command it.
Yes.
We have to let it know what to think, how to think it, and with who to think it with, which is important. Yeah.
Yeah, like he says, put on that captain's hat and start directing your ship.
Exactly.
Set a direction. Yeah. So yesterday you joined the Mindset Mentor Conference. You saw what it was like. You talked to some of the guests.
Yeah.
You experienced something, an atmosphere, a culture, a feeling. What was it like? First impressions.
Yeah, good question. One thing was it was like-minded. That was really good because what was being shared, the way it was shared, the room was quite diverse. Men, women, and there were different walks of life and experiences in the space, which is important. There was a certain humbleness to it, but also a lot of confidence in the room. Yeah. Faith, you could feel the faith. I'm a believer, so you can actually sense that in a space. Yeah. That was good. But also yesterday was a lot, for me, it was one thing is me being present there, but it was also having my son there. Yes. Had a different angle to it. So I was trying to, I can't see it through his eyes because I'm not him, he's not me. But I wanted to see his approach to the space and how when he took the word and when he shared his thoughts or introduced himself, that was a really strong place to be. And just the fact that I brought my son to it is a proof of my acknowledgement of the space, because I would never lead him into something that I wouldn't believe would be of a good investment and of right values to him. Yeah. So I kind of planted him as a seed into this environment, because I believe that having the right mindset, being a part of the right environment, believing in each other, and working on your own skill sets of developing the potential within your mind, but also to have that in coherence with the right values. You need to have heart-led intelligence, if I may put it that way. Yeah. That we are not just smart, but we are heartfelt in what we do. We want to serve. We want to be of service. We want to acknowledge each other without compromising on who we are. Yes. I think we're not so called to sacrifice. We are called to invest. Because if I help you, and helping you is something that tears me down, it makes it hard for you to accept that or accept my help. Yeah. But if I can help you from a strong spot, then it's easy for you to take my assistance and help without being a burden.
Yeah.
So we have to take away that guilt, the
Yes.
feeling of guilt.
Yeah.
And in our society today, guilt is probably one of the biggest, shackles that keep us down. Guilt
Yeah.
of not being enough,
Yeah.
not being good enough father, good enough husband, good enough son, good enough friend, good enough, you name it.
Yes.
But as long as you're doing your very best, you are good enough.
Mm.
Because how can you do better than your best?
Yeah.
And only you know what's your best. So you have to be honest with yourself. I can't do halfway and say I did my best and then be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
If I give it my all, then I know I can be content. I did my very best, and that is good enough.
Yeah. If you know you couldn't have done it any better, you should be proud.
And
You
that's my
shouldn't be
challenge. I'm
critical.
like, for those of you watching, so listening into this, just ask yourself this question, right? Every person has areas in the life that make up their lives. And those areas, you get to choose what kind of matter the most to you. And if I were to ask those of you guys listening in right now, which areas in life matters the most to you, that'll give you the life that you want to live, that is of value? Is it your family? Is it your occupation? Is it your health? Is it the way you spend your time or invest your time? Or is it your finances? And then if you write down those areas that matters the most to you, and then you ask yourself this question, are you doing or being your very best in that area, in that area, in that area? If it's a no, and it's important to you, then you need to step up.
Yes.
If you don't step up, then it is not important to you.
Yes.
So just be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And which area that's important to you will vary from time to time.
Of course.
So this weekend for me is more me being a father, facilitating a space for my son to acknowledge, see, or become aware of things in his life that maybe I can't impress on him. Yeah?
Yeah.
More than my own journey. But that is a part of my journey, because being a father is a great deal of who I am, and I choose that to be an important space. So it's a mutual thing, So I think, so that's, So I think the Nordic mindset, to touch back into that, I think the structure around it is structuring me in a process of capacity and competence that I already have, but that's being structured. And I think being structured will bring it even more value.
Yes.
Just even talking with you on this podcast is also creating that structure.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. So we have quite a number of different types of therapists who join our Mindset Mentor Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And something common for almost all of them is that they say, well, I know that I'm helping people, but I can only help one person at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's to get back to the structure. So the Nordic Mindset is a video program where you also talk to a mindset mentor, and you also print out a PDF so that you challenge your mind on what new learning have you made, what is the new direction, what goals do you have, what actions are you going to do. It helps your mind become clear on what it is you've actually learned.
Mm-hmm.
But they say that with a program where it's like a therapy, but on semi-autopilot, because before each session, the client will have learned 2 new mindset tools or psychological strategies that are then talked through with the mindset mentor, reinforcing them, helping them not just understand the tools in theory, but to live them in practice. And I think that's one of the things that they say again and again. They say, well, with this method, I can help 10 or hundreds of more people than I would have ever been able to do on my own.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because of the structure that you're talking about, that it's put into a system. So during the conference, and also this morning, while we were having breakfast with some of the mindset mentors, you heard some stories about people who've been through the Danish version of the Nordic Mindset, which is the original version of the Nordic Mindset. What stood out most to you about their transformations, their stories?
I think one thing they all have in common is that they were in a space in their life where they knew that they were shortcoming, lacking, or deprived of something that really matters to them. They were lacking direction or sense of value or a perspective that gives them engagement in their day-to-day living. And then they come across a podcast or a YouTube video or just a book or whatever, or a conversation with somebody that recommended them something. And what they heard, what they came across, caught their attention.
Yeah.
An attention that, was there because there was something within them looking for meaning. And that was found in that space. So that's the first proof that there is value in what the Nordic mindset is bringing to the table. Because if it didn't, then people would not resonate. Yeah. Simple as that. And like Sulva, the lady that I was able to speak with this morning, 2 years ago, her life was in a totally different space. And now 2 years after, she's in the mentorship leadership program, leading in the organization. So that's a shift. But it's not just about her, but it's also about her relationship to her husband, the family, the kids. It's not just that one person. Yeah. It's the ripple effect.
Yes.
And I think that drives me, really drives me, because I believe that if I look at myself as a seed, and we tell that a seed carries the promise of 1,000 forests.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Very nice.
So if I'm a seed, but I'm not planted in the right environment or the right soil, then I will not bear fruit.
Yes.
If I'm a seed laying on the table, there's no value in it.
Yes, exactly.
So I need to plant myself. So I would say that everybody listening into this now or watching it, it's that you are a seed. There is greatness within you, way more than you will ever understand, ever achieve. Yes. I don't believe that we will ever reach our fullest potential, but I will die trying. I will die pushing for that, right? So I need to plant myself in the right environment, just like I brought my son to plant him into this environment as a seed. Yeah. Because I believe that the soil here will nurture, nourish, and root him in the right space. Yeah. Yeah. He needs to choose to plant himself. I can't plant him. Of course. I can just he can choose. You need to make that choice. Yeah. But then if you do that, then the consequences are beautiful. Yeah. But if you don't do that, you will be blown here and there by every kind of wind. Yeah. And that's what most people do today. Yep. We are victims. We are not the cause of our lives.
That's right. Yeah. So I know that up in very to the north of Norway, there is an island, I think it's called Svalbard.
Svalbard, yeah.
Is it an island?
Yeah.
Okay, and I know that in the mountains of Svalbard, there has been dug a depository of, I think it's 1.2 million different seeds from trees and plants and flowers and from everywhere in the world.
Exactly.
And all of those, like you said, they could, if the world we live on, the planet we live on, went through some sort of cataclysmic disaster, those seeds, those 1.2 million seeds, could potentially recreate the world as we know it. Yeah. But as long as they're in there, they're worthless.
That's true.
It's only a promise. It's only a potential, like a seed, like you just said, it's the potential of something, but it isn't really something. So unless we take our skills and plant them somewhere and start like making roots and start growing, we have all these talents. Like I think Son often shares that the average person has 600 talents, something that they could become good at. But if they're not rooted in their values, if they don't, so maybe you could be an amazing piano player, but you never actually sit down at a piano and see how easy it is for you. Because I believe that talent is something that comes so natural to you, and that brings you so much joy when you do it, that it doesn't feel like you're practicing or rehearsing or working for it even.
Here's a good question to you guys, right? So ask yourself and be honest to yourself. When you wake up in the morning and you go through your day, how much of the things that you do you do because you want to do, and how much of the things that you do because people expect you to do it? And if it's a 50% or more of things that people expect you to do it, you're living somebody else's life.
Yeah.
So you can re-choose. I'm here not because I have to, I'm here because I want to. Just that gives me ownership, accountability, and validation at the same time. But if I'm here because I have to, then I'm giving away my power. So that's a very easy way to regain control and ownership of your life. And on and off, I do stuff that I have to do, that is expected of me, but it's only the stuff that allows me to do more of what I want to do.
Yes.
It's never to compromise on that. But it's a process, and you have to give yourself that space. You need to be generous with yourself. You need to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Most of us are harsh towards ourselves. And that's something we need to stop doing, because we need to be kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
Give ourselves another chance. Try again. Go again.
Yeah.
Because you can't give something you don't have. You can't be gracious to other people if you're harsh on yourself.
Exactly.
You can't forgive somebody else if you don't forgive yourself. You can't give something you don't have.
Yeah.
So relive it before you share it.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. So the Nordic Mindset Training Program focuses on skill training instead of just focusing on the past. As a leader, how does that resonate with you?
100%. I mean, most people that I meet today, they are living a life based on past experiences. They are anticipating the same thing will happen again.
Yeah.
And here's the cool thing. When I woke up this morning and I said hi to my son, Isaac Prince, I've done that before, but today never happened before. Today's never happened.
Yeah.
So for me to be present in today brings more value to today than it would if I didn't do so. When my son and we fly back today to Norway, and I get back home later this evening, and I meet my wife and our other two sons, because my eldest guy will stay back in Oslo. I've come back home before, but tonight has never happened before. So to be present now and towards the future is a whole different life than repeating what has been already.
Yeah.
Which has been one of the biggest traps of life.
Yeah.
You know, so I would. That would be one advice I would love to give to all of you. Is that when the next person you speak to, even though you spoke to them before, this has never happened.
Yeah.
So have that expectation in that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. In most of our podcasts, we share a tool. And this would be a good moment to share one of the 32 tools of the Nordic Mindset. And it's actually the tool that we just call the 3 time zones. And it's really about understanding that if your mind is stuck, either time traveling to the past, to everything you regret, to people who wronged you, to what you yourself could have done differently, or if you're time traveling to the future mentally, thinking about what if this, what if that, what if this, that, and the other thing happens?
Yeah.
What if my friend deceives me or lies to me? What if my partner betrays me? What if I get fired? What if I get sick? Then you're robbing yourself of the joy of the present. And in the tool, the 3 time zones, you actually get to work with that, and you're going to train that with your mindset mentor. So you get to write down what happens in your body when you worry. Like when worrying is mainly about the future. When you worry about what could happen, you get to also write down, because we believe in the Nordic mindset that the pen is mightier than the sword. You get to crystallize your thoughts down onto paper. It becomes visual to you. It isn't just 90,000 thoughts every 24 hours in your mind. It's very clear what you have written down. And then when you have a worry, you write it down. And when you write down your worry, first of all, some of the uncertainty goes away, because now you know exactly what you're worrying about. Yeah. Then you put your worry into a category. So either your worry is a fact of life, something you cannot change, no matter how long you worry about it, no matter how much mental resources you put into it, you cannot change that thing. You can't change war. You can't change the fact that someday you're going to die. It's just one day. All the other days you don't have to, but you can't change that. So worrying about it doesn't really do anything good for you, but it does do a lot bad for you. It robs you of your energy.
But not only for you, but also your whole environment.
Exactly.
The people that you love.
Yeah.
It steals you from them.
Exactly. So in the tool, in the assignment, you write down 7 worries. You classify them as either a fact of life or a problem. And if it's a problem, from now on, by the way, you can solve any problem you ever have from this day. Any problem you ever have, you can solve it. Because if it's a problem you cannot solve, then it isn't a problem, then it's a fact of life. And facts of life don't deserve your time, your energy, your attention. They deserve your acceptance because you can't change them anyway. Now, the way to accept them isn't to say, I don't want to think about the fact that it might rain on my birthday. It is simply to go into solution mode and think about something that gives you energy instead of something that drains your energy. And when you're in solution mode, when you're making a plan, like writing down a plan with your pen, what am I going to do if it rains on my birthday? Then it's no longer a fact of life. Now it's a problem because you can actually come up with a solution. And that gets you out of that worried state. The brain is either very emotional or very rational. It's very hard to think two thoughts at the same time, just as it is very hard to watch two movies at the same time or read two books at the same time. That would be impossible. So if you are preoccupied with worries about the future or regrets about the past, trauma, problems from your past, if you shift to that logical, rational part of your mind by thinking about solutions, then the worrisome part of your mind does not get any oxygen anymore, like it doesn't get any attention. Those thoughts will slowly wither away.
It's deprived.
Yeah, deprived of oxygen, like a fire.
Yeah.
So just like that, you can learn to do this if you train it. And that's what we do at the Nordic Mindset with these tools. So that's the tool that we give away. You can learn much more about that at nordicmindset.com. So, Charles, you have a unique perspective on human behavior through your decades of leadership experience. What patterns do you often see in people who struggle with stress or anxiety or depression? Is there a common denominator when people struggle with, we always do air quotes when we say mental diseases, because it's not a disease.
No, it's not.
Like you, if you go to a supermarket and the person in front of you in the line sneezes, you can't catch anxiety. You can't catch depression. That's a pattern of thought that you yourself have created. And that's not to put blame on you if you feel like that. It isn't to put blame on you, but it is to tell you that if you can create those things, if you can think yourself sick in air quotes, well, then you can also think yourself well.
Oh, yeah.
So, what patterns have you seen with people who struggle?
I think you actually touched into it when you talked about the 3 time zones or the 3 areas that you can affect on, because the pattern is that when people indulge or invest time towards stuff that they can change, those are facts of life, they remain in that and they help them make them their identity.
Yes.
And you are not your fact of life. You're who you choose to be in regards or regardless of that. So that's a pattern that just goes through everything.
Yeah.
And I think that now my engagement in my industry, one of the things I like about it is it's not about just that space where you work or you build financial value, but it's about that being a tool in your life in general. So what I do impacts me as a father, as a husband, as a son, as a brother, as a leader, as a father. Every aspect of me is a part of what I do. Yeah. That's why sitting here talking is easy, because I just get to be me and talk about what drives me, what's of value to me. So to answer your question, Michael, I think when I see people, the challenges that people have that hold them back is based on the fact that they are investing time and effort and thought into things that they cannot do anything about. And they are letting people who actually don't even think about them stand in their way of moving forward.
Yes.
I've got some good examples about that. When I went to school in high school, my teacher told me in front of the whole class, he told me, Charles, I don't know what's going to become of you, right? And at the same time, I remember my father or my mother, they were, they had very high faith in me. And they said, Charles, you can become whatever, whenever. So I had 2 stories to choose.
Yes.
Choice.
Yeah.
One was limiting, one was empowering. Yeah. So I chose my father and mother's belief in me instead. Now, I don't think that my teacher back then is laying in bed today telling his wife, Ingrid, I wonder how Charles is doing, But the sad part is that there are many people who have allowed people in their lives to say something, think something, assume something.
Yes.
And it's holding them back
Yes.
from being who they are, who they know they can be.
Yes.
And they say, well, if it wasn't for this teacher, if it wasn't for my father, you know what? They're not there now. They don't have that belief today, but we are still caught up in that. So like I said earlier, you need to be kind to yourself. Let go of this stuff that's holding you back.
Yes.
You know, it's a mindset thing. I mean, in Sri Lanka, where I come from, I was at this elephant orphanage, and there was this huge elephant tied down to a small chain, towards a small chair or a small pole.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the guy taking care of him and said, how come it's stuck there? I mean, he can just sneeze it. He can move away from that stake easily, you know. There's no power in it. But then this guy said, well, from the small age of that elephant, when it was a baby elephant, they tied it to that pole.
Yeah.
And then it was a resistant in it. But they did it every single day. They brought it always back to that pole and tied it up. So even though the elephant grew bigger
And stronger.
had more potential, more power, it was still a victim.
Yeah.
It was still a prisoner
Yes.
of past thoughts.
Yeah.
And that is so true to us as well. Conditioning,
Yes.
rightfully. And society conditions us.
Yes.
You know, your environment conditions you, and your thoughts condition you.
Yeah.
So we are all free, but prisoners by choice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
interesting.
Yeah, Søren actually tells a really profound story sometimes on stage. So he says, imagine that you and I meet, and I'm having a party for 200 of my closest friends here at his wonderful estate. And a guy cancels and can't come. And I tell you, I like you very much. I think you should come to my party. And you get to meet all of Søren's friends, and they're very, very friendly. Everyone talks to you. They tell you good jokes. They laugh at your jokes. They compliment you. They say you look good. They say you look sharp. It's just an amazing night. And you feel so good.
Yeah.
But now it's time to go home. And you've had, I don't know, hundreds of compliments that one night. And you go home, and as you walk outside to catch a cab, a drunk guy sees you. And he goes, man, you're ugly.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen some ugly people in my life before, but you take the prize.
You take the prize.
Looks like your teeth have been designed with a hand grenade.
Yeah.
You look awful. You're not just ugly. You're like a really special kind of ugly. And then you go home and you lie in bed. What do you think about?
Yeah.
Because if you allow that one guy to influence your feelings that night, that's not his fault. That's yours.
Oh, yeah.
You had hundreds of compliments of people telling you that you look good, or what a good joke, or people complimenting for your skills. But if you focus on that one guy, and that's a huge mistake that I know a lot of people make, and I myself have definitely in my youth been guilty of that.
Oh, yeah.
That we simply focus on the wrong things. And I don't want to explain another tool that we have, but it's called the circle of trust, and it makes you very, very aware of who do you have in your life who lifts you up, and who do you have in your life who maybe doesn't.
Who drains you.
Exactly.
I have a saying in my life. I say that there are some people in my life that I love at a distance.
Yes.
You know, I love you, but stay there.
Yes.
I'll come see you on and off.
Yes.
But stay there.
Yes.
Because it's my responsibility to choose my surroundings. You know?
Exactly.
And you have a choice. And Viktor Frankl says the last thing that can be taken away from a human, from a person, is the choice. The last thing.
Yeah.
And until the day you take your last breath, you have that choice.
Yes.
It's the most empowering thing that we have. You choose to. So don't waste that choice.
Exactly.
You know? And don't let anybody else choose. Because letting somebody else choose for you is also a choice.
Yeah.
And not making a choice is a choice.
Yeah.
Maybe the most consequential one.
Yeah.
In a negative space.
Yes.
Because you will have to be accountable to what you didn't choose.
Yes.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
That's why people say, well, I didn't choose that.
No, but you let someone else do it for you. Yeah.
True.
You accepted someone
it.
else's choice. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So, Charles, have you witnessed moments in your own organization through the years where a shift in mindset created a noticeable change in performance, in culture, in maybe in communication. So anything in your organization where maybe you said something on stage where you afterwards could feel the effects of that one story. Because sometimes as speakers and trainers, we share a story and you can see people's eyes light up.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see them sort of going, they're nodding along there, and then all of a sudden they go,
yeah,
that's me.
they realize it.
Oh my God, that's what I do. Yeah, from now on I'm not going to do that anymore because now I heard it. I heard a story that I could relate so much to that I saw the story. It was about someone else, but it was really about me. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm privileged to be able to experience that on a regular basis, whether it's on a one-on-one or a small group or a home session or small events or even the biggest ones with thousands of people. I think my father always told me that speak to an audience as if it was only one person seated. You know,
okay.
And I think that's a very powerful advice to those of us who want to be of. If there's 1,000 people listening to this podcast, I'm not talking to 1,000. I'm talking to you, that one person that resonates with what I'm sharing with you. You're the one that matters. It's never about the numbers. It's about that person that is impacted about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm privileged to be a part of a journey and engagement where that is. On a daily basis, I see that happening. You know, the youngest person I'm working with now is 18. The eldest is 82.
Wow.
That's just in Norway.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. The mind is powerful no matter which age you're in. You know, it's a mind thing. Our youngest kid, Liam Jeremiah, he walked in the room one day, this a couple of years ago. He says, you know, Dad, when I think about something, I watch it like a movie in my head, and then I go and do it.
Visualization. Yeah.
I think it was just 5 or 6 years at that time.
Wow.
You know? And I was like, I said, Liam John, what did you say? And I said, you know, when I think about something, I watch it as a movie, and then I go and do it. And that's Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
You know?
I know.
And without a vision, man will perish, the Bible says. So if you were to ask today, if you're asked today, what is your vision for life? What would you reply? Because that vision or lack of it will determine how you are in the present. You know, it either gives you a drive, or it doesn't, or it kind of deflates you.
Yes.
You know, you feel powerless.
Yeah.
You feel questions like, well, what does it matter anyway? Well, it matters everything.
Yeah.
If you have that hope in the future. So
definitely.
I've seen that several times, and there are so many stories I could share about that. But I think I would like to shift it in a way, saying that for those of you that are listening into what Michael and I are sharing right now, just ask yourself, when was the last time you were in a space or a situation where you felt empowered, where you believed, which drove you to move? When was that? And why is that so long ago?
Yeah.
Why is that so long ago?
Yeah.
And if you can reconnect with that, that's your calling.
Yes.
Do more of what drives you.
Yeah.
You know, and other people's opinion it's what it is. It's their opinion and nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give it more power.
Opinions aren't fact.
Nope.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay. So many people around the world feel pretty overwhelmed today and lost.
Yeah.
From your point of view, why do you think programs like the Nordic Mindset are needed? What is it that this program can fix or solve?
I think it will help you. It will pull you back to the core of what really matters. I think it can take you away from the voice, the sound, the chaos surrounding us,
the noise.
We are bombarded by opinions, thoughts, and frustration, anger, hopelessness, and misery. Even though we know that the world is better today than it's been forever. Yeah. It's in a better space than ever, but it feels like the opposite.
Yes,
because we are being fed this constant flow of depressive thoughts and conditionings. So to withdraw yourself from that and into a space which is structured, which is something you can go to and be accountable towards, and that is accountable towards you, that's a great space to be. And I think people are looking for this. And that's why it's getting such a good response. It's resonating the way it is doing right now.
Yep.
My father used to tell me, you should only watch the news that you can do something about and that you're willing to do something about.
Yeah.
Everything else, just mute it.
Like I just said.
Be present, yeah.
Yeah. From now on, you can solve any problem you have. If you can't solve it, it isn't a problem.
Yeah.
It's a fact of life. And you should just accept those.
And
they don't deserve your time.
And also, Michael, it has to be a problem that you want to solve.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But don't go solve all problems, because most problems no need to be solved because they're not leading you towards what you really want to do.
Yeah.
So the problems that are of value to you when you solve them, those are the ones you should be present in. So yeah, I think back to what you asked about, I think to be a part of a program that is systemized, that is strategically built, that echoes properly in the right way towards your own thoughts and your direction, it's going to be very crucial. And it will be life-changing. It doesn't have to take a year, 2 or 3. It can be done in a shift of a moment, depending on which space it is involved in. I think if I could get a call right now that could shift my life 100%, people experience this every single day. I can share a quick story here, 2 stories. Elderly couple, I wouldn't say elderly couple, they're in the retirement age. He's run a very successful business in construction with more than 40 employees. And I've been working with his wife and daughter-in-law for quite a few years in the business, and he's been looking forward to partaking even more after his retirement. And they've done really well. And he gets to know by the doctors that he has ALS. An amazing guy, joyful guy. And I was invited to their home not too long ago, and to sit with them and to see them share this with me, and to see him, a successful businessman in that space, knowing that he's been infected by something that in medical terms doesn't have any solution. Yeah. It makes you aware of the value of life and how important it is to live right here and now.
Yes.
A week and a half before that, a younger girl, 24 years old, full of life. She's active on the social media. She's a model. She's living life to its fullest. She gets a notice from the doctor because of severe headaches that she has a tumor in her brain. 24 years. But both of them have chosen to be present in what's possible, to invest in the right relationships in that space, to live as much as they can. And it reminds me that why should we wait for things like that to happen before we actually do that?
Yes.
You and I are blessed to make that choice, to live present right now. So just give yourself that gift. Give those around you that truly matter to you the gift of you being present in you and then in them. You should love thy neighbor as yourself. So first you, then your neighbor.
Yeah.
That's not being selfish. That is being careful. That is being authentic.
Yeah.
That is being real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. 24 years old. That's hard news to get at 24.
But the way she kind of embraces that. My younger sister passed away at the age of 42, too young.
Yeah.
But she lived her life to its fullest.
Yeah.
So, do you want to live as long as you can, or do you want to live as much as you can? Do you want to become all you can be? I don't think how long you live determines the value of your life.
True.
It is how much you've been who you are, how much you've been in charge of your life that brings that value when it comes to life. Not the value of you as a human, because that's equal, but the value you bring to life is a whole different thing. And again, like we started this podcast, it's all a choice.
It is.
We got to choose, or we get not to choose, but that's also a choice.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's simply just not being responsible for yourself. If you give that power to someone else, don't be surprised when they don't choose what's best for you.
No.
You're the only one who can make that choice, because you're the only one who knows.
How could they? They barely know what's the good thing for them.
Exactly.
I mean, how could that happen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Well, fantastic to have you here, Charles. It won't be too long before we drive you and Isaac Prince to the airport.
Absolutely.
You're flying back to
yeah.
Oslo. So I want to ask you one last thing. If someone is listening, is curious about mindset, but unsure where to begin, what would your advice be to them based on everything that you've experienced here for the past 24 hours here in Denmark?
Well, I think like you said earlier, is that there's a lot of information out there, but it's very scattered.
Yeah.
There's no system about it, and it's kind of you move from one person to the other person, and you're like always in a constant search.
Yes.
So I think for you to have that structure, I think that's going to be one of the reasons why I look even deeper into this, is because of the structure. So I would recommend people to check out Nordic Mindset.
Okay.
Find it out and give it a try. There's nothing compulsory about it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then of course you let it go.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to do, but I think I would recommend that space to get into and stay inspired, stay connected, stay driven, and give yourself that gift. You will be surprised. For me, after so many years in this industry, in this space of mindset that I've been privileged to be a part of, I am more eager, more excited, more driven, more passionate, and my belief in it has never been greater. That in itself is a proof of that we are on the right track.
Yeah.
And like you said, if we can reach out to more, it's always about that one person, but everyone is a part of that one person. Everyone is a person, yeah? So, but the first person to reach out is yourself.
Yep.
Bring value to yourself, be accountable to yourself, be kind to yourself, and then share what you have. That's how can it? I just don't understand how could it go wrong by doing good?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There's more than enough for everybody.
There is
more than enough for everybody.
There is.
Yeah, there's this belief that there's not enough for everybody. That's a manipulative thought.
Yes, it is.
To have a few people in position. There is more than enough.
There is.
For each and every one of us.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Charles.
My pleasure, Michael. Lovely to be here. Thank you for your, hospitality and friendship and trust. And
so good to see you again.
Yeah, my pleasure. God bless you guys. And for those of you guys listening, just be blessed. Choose the right thing and do your very best, and that's always good enough. It's always good enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're watching and listening, thank you very much for joining us. This episode number 2 of the Nordic Mindset Podcast. If you have any questions, if you want to know more about our program, reach out. There will be a link in the description below. You can go to our website. You can email me directly, michael@nordicmindset.com. You can have a free, absolutely free, no strings attached, 30-minute free consultation on the phone, WhatsApp. And we can talk. Maybe your next step is to enroll in the best mindset training program in the world. Maybe it's just to keep listening to podcasts. Maybe it's that you get a free copy of Søren's new audiobook, The New Psychology. Whatever is best for you, we'll talk about it and we'll guide you along. But thank you very much for listening in. And Charles, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. God bless.
God bless.